Hello and welcome to Cockatoo, Cockatoos with Attitude. Today starring Cecil. Right, Cecil? Hmm? Could you find a harder wood to break apart? You're doing a pretty good job on that thing. Yeah, you are. Cecil bird. Where are you going, Cecil? It's supposed to be on mirror. It's driving me crazy. Hold on, let me see if I can fix that. I don't know why it does that automatically now. Settings. Camera. No, it's not on mirror. It's with me. What's up, Cecil? Hey, boy. Yeah, he wasn't breathing too well earlier today, so seems to be better now, but we are we're waiting on Dr. Jenkins to look at the x-rays that were sent over by Dr. Jam. But we did get the test back. We know he's AGN positive. In the old days, we went by symptoms, and everybody would go, "Oh, they've got PDD," which wasn't a disease; it was a description of symptoms. So now we have an actual test for the disease itself, and we have medicine that cures about 40% of them. Well, it doesn't cure them, but if you keep giving it to them, they'll stay alive for a normal lifespan, is what we're seeing. So. But it all depends on how far his organ enlargement has gone, and we'll know better about that once we can talk to Dr. Jenkins. Right, Cecil? He's made himself two toys now. He wasn't terribly helpful while I was cleaning today. He was playing in his cage while I was cleaning. Mm-hmm. Yes, you were. You're going to throw more stuff at the phone? We have Cecil. We have the boys in here today. We have Cecil and we have KK. Let me see if I can switch the camera here. We have KK and Snowball, who's up there sleeping, and Lucy and Sugar. And there's Jasmine? Her other sleeping spot. Yep, I'm talking about you, Jazz. That Jazz bird. I thought it was a good time to talk about Cecil because I know a lot of the information about AGN, just people aren't receiving it yet. It takes a while for people to understand that this is a devastating disease that we can often control, kind of like AIDS. AIDS is an autoimmune disease. It doesn't work quite the same way, but it is autoimmune. And he has an autoimmune disease as well. I'm thinking about getting everybody tested in here. That'll be fun with Romeo, but he's probably the one that shows the most symptoms, indicating he may also have it. Lucy shows some too. She tends to look at her feet when she moves, and normal parents don't do that. So, not that I'm real thrilled about having to give shots to a whole bunch of birds every 3 days, but that's the way it goes, isn't it, Cecil? He takes it pretty well, don't you? Hmm? Are you okay with it? He says, I'm not agreeing to anything. I don't understand English. All right, Cecil? So at the moment, the prognosis is he has about 4 out of 10 chances of survival. Cause is doing better. She doesn't have the enlargement of organs. She has blindness, and it was also making her so she can't talk and malforming her beak. But all that seems to be coming back, except for the talking. Her beak seems to be growing normally now, and her vision is definitely back on one side and about halfway back on the other. But Cecil has the organ problem where it's actually gone to affect the organs. And honestly, it's difficult enough to get the average person to learn about the one symptom that indicates a particular disease. But when you have a disease that can have all kinds of symptoms, they just have to be based on a neurological base. So nerves control how the beak grows. Nerves controls whether you see or not, whether you hear. Um, Nerves control how you move your feet. So since it can attack anything like that, I mean, trying to explain that to people and get them to see where there may be a problem. So I examine each bird to see what they're doing now to see if there's any slight indication there's a problem. Right, Cecil? He certainly has changed since he first came. When I first saw him, he was being shown to me on the back of a truck by people who'd brought him down from Los Angeles, about a 5 hour drive. They couldn't find anyone else to take him. And he was just giving a blank stare, and he had spikes on his head because nobody knew. The people who had him didn't have a clue what to do about preening the keratin off the feathers. So he looked like something from the movie Hellraiser. And like he'd had just had a big shot of Novocaine because he wasn't reacting to anything. But I preened his head before I took him. They offered me, here, well, they want to try handing him over. I said, wait a minute. And they preened all of his head feathers. And they said, oh, you're supposed to do that? I said, well, I don't think he can reach it. Do you? That just goes to show how strictly hand to mouth people can. I mean, these people were trying to help him, so I'm not complaining there, but how hand to mouth people, especially in the US, can be. I was at the water store a couple of days ago, and a guy was buying a couple of water bottles, and then he saw them washing out our water bottles because they wash them. I have to do the soap and water and all that, the hydrogen peroxide and all that myself, but they do a general rinse out. And he looked and he said, "What? You have to wash them out before you put more water in them?" And I'm going, "Oh, here we go. Typical citizen doesn't know what." And I'm surprised he knows how to tie his shoes. You know, you don't have to wash out because what happens is obviously a bacteria will build up in there if you don't do that. So then you're trying to give your birds fresh water, and instead you're giving them infected water because the bacteria builds up inside. So yeah, you got to buy those scrubbing brushes and you got to scrub them out. And they have hydrogen peroxide pills if you don't know how to mix it yourself because you got to get the concentration right to clean the bottle. Then you got to hang it out and dry it, or rinse it, hang it out and dry it. Make sure there's no hydrogen peroxide left in it. No. But anyway, he looked like something from the movie Hellraiser. Well, combined with a troll because it looked like he'd been turned to stone. I got him back to the sanctuary and he just sat on a perch. Like, that's all I do is just sit here and stare blankly. Doesn't look like Cecil now, does it? I have seen him doing that in the last couple of months a little bit more, and I was wondering what was going on. And now we know from the initial X-ray readings, which were, yes, there is some organ enlargement. That's what I got, which is better than what I would have got if we didn't find a vet here in town. She does a good job of making sure that we get the blood testing and that kind of stuff done. So, but so then I try. He wouldn't engage with toys. I put toys in there, and you can see how he is now. But he wouldn't engage with toys. He would just sit there, and I'd come up and talk to him, and his eyes wouldn't even move to look at me. So I'd go in and pet him, and he'd look like there was. He'd get funny looks on his face, kind of scrunch up his face a little bit. He had no idea what was going on. Then I'd preen his head. I'd pick him up and put him on the perch outside the cage and preen his head. And after a couple of months of that, he started looking around and, wow, there's other birds in here, that kind of thing. He started to notice his environment. So he eventually, within the first 6 months, started nibbling a little bit at toys. Within a year, he was tearing up wood and ripping up toys, which was good. He started interacting with the other birds. The first bird he actually interacted with was Peaches. Peaches and Cecil were great friends. They were such good friends that when I showed him that she had passed away and I was holding her remains, he looked at me with a not so good look. Like, what did you do to her? Yeah. Yes, you did. That's what you did. But that was his first friend, and then he became friends with Coco. Got a little too friendly with Simone, and Simone started getting horribly territorial. Fortunately, before I took Dr. Zelig's course and learned better how to deal with this territoriality, um, she went to one of our board members who was in New Jersey, and that's where she is now. She's well taken care of, but Cecil obviously still misses her. I don't think he was too happy with me over that, but he was good friends with Coco, but that was just a friendship. What are you doing over there, you monster? Hmm?
So we might want to greet some of our chatters. So let's see if I get everybody. So let's start with the first. Falkensu was the first here. Hello and welcome. Then we have Natalie and James. Tiki Tiki is here. Calvin Thurston. Dylan Driggle. Rosebud Atkins. And Eleanor and Salta joined us. So hello and welcome, everybody.
Hello, everybody. No, sugar, it's not time yet. Not time yet. That's the please preen me look. I'm not able to preen you right now. Sorry. Cecil is standing on my wrist, so she's used to getting preened at this time now because usually it's not the boys in here first. But if I'd done that, I'd be talking about Cecil and he wouldn't be in the room. So, and he doesn't like to be talked about behind his back, do you? No. There's Lucy. Wake up, Lucy. She's become a kamikaze diver now. She waits till I'm not looking and then slams into my face from distance. She just flies into me. I think she likes it. Because she usually doesn't say pretty bird anymore. She just gets in position and lands on me. What do you say about that, Mister? Huh? KK bird? KK. Hello. 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 Are you going to mess with Lucy? Would you like to sign up for a life insurance policy if you're going to do that? She's tougher than she looks. So this one, he eventually made friends with everybody. Even Romeo likes him, but getting Romeo out to play with anybody is near impossible. But when he does come out, he likes being around Cecil. Even though Cecil, how you going to do? Use that to drive it into my arm or what? Kind of looked like a jackhammer you were making there. Then I noticed he was making his own toys. He likes two at a time, but he'll also take something like a bead, thread it onto a piece of leather, and then thread something else on there, and then stuff the leather into something. He's done that in my shirt too. Sometimes when you're not looking, he'll take your shirt and make it part of a toy. He'll weave it into a hole of some toy he's making. And after he'd come out of his catatonic state, I'll never forget the time that he challenged Murray and won. Murray was threatening him to keep me a Congo African gray. You can't get up on the door of this cage, and he went and got that little boat toy on a rope and started swinging it, and then hit Murray with it. Didn't hurt her, of course. It was a lightweight plastic toy, but hit her twice. She started climbing down, hit her on the tail. Then he threw the toy away. Like, well, I won that match. And the fact that he planned that whole thing out, he went over and got a specific toy, and this shows you how smart these guys are and how smart Cecil is, right, Cecil? Oh no, you're not gonna stab me with that. No, I don't want you on my shoulder because ouch, because you keep hitting my. No, come here, come here, come here. Sorry, got to get him down because he'll hit me with that and knock my earbuds out, won't you? Won't you? Hmm? Won't you, big boy? Perfectly fine to have him on your shoulder if you don't mind getting him whacking your earbuds or sticking you with a sharp piece of wood, which he finds incredibly funny. Have a sixth sense of humor. So when in the old sanctuary where they used to play on the tops of the cages in the living room, there also was a socialization room with a big rope net that I made. I wish I could do that here, but these roofs are just not that good on these manufactured homes. It weighed about 80 pounds, but he'd get up there and torture Mander. Mander would go up there to hide, and then he'd go over and chase Mander around, wouldn't you? It's fun to chase Mander because everybody knows he'll run away, right? Right, Cecil? How's your breathing today? How are you doing? Yeah, it's still not terribly good. You can see it, and you can see that clearly a bird breathing when they're not being that active. There's a problem, right, Cecil? Mm. I had someone tell me to try to keep him calm, and I almost just burst out into laughter. Keep Cecil calm. If he wants to play, he's going to play. There's not much you can do about it. I could take the toys out of his cage, but that wouldn't, that won't help his sense of worth. It won't make him feel like a good bird. No, I mean, he's a good boy. He is. Started taking him along with Chloe to the Renaissance fairs, and he's really a card when he's out in public. He says, "I'm a card when I'm not in public." He has a way of catching everybody's attention by throwing his head up and getting his wings out and flapping, doing a display, right? You do your display. Oh, you dropped your wood. What, you want to be petted now? Oh, okay. All right. Okay. That behavior is a little different too. He used to, when he was done with the toy, he'd just toss it away, like shake his head. Now he's like, okay, I'm done, and he drops it. Wear out a little quicker, don't you, baby? Mm. I see some. See, he's tired now. I wore myself out. He and Coco were great friends, though. They preened each other, and Coco was a good preener too. So they preened each other. They would go and play together, but they never got any closer than that. But they were good friends. So was this boy and Peaches. He and Peaches got along. I think he would have protected her if he ever needed to, but she just didn't need protection. She sort of had her own force field around her. What you up to over there, Mr. KK Bird? No, 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 no. Cleaning tool. No, that was good. I really did a great job there. It just has a plastic razor blade. It won't actually cut anything, but I don't really want them playing with it. You're pretty sneaky. You saw that thing and you went over there to get it, didn't you? Well, you can't have it. It's not a toy. It's pretty darn good for scraping poop off of cages and stuff, but and it doesn't actually scrape the coating off. But took everything else out and forgot that thing.
Hmm.
If you ever get one of those, you look for a plastic Razor knife is what you're looking for. That's what those are called. Don't get the plastic handles. They're useless. All that happens is the darn things slide out, and the plastic razor won't stay in there. And they're not sharp. You can go against your arm. It's not gonna, but they will get like stuff off the floor. Bird poop comes up pretty easy, but still, it makes it a lot easier. Once something's hardened, it comes right up. Gets gum off the floor. That'll tell you how well they work. Yeah, there we go. Pretty bird. Are you going to pretty bird me today just to make it, make me a liar? Is that what you're going to do? Pretty bird? Pretty bird? And she won't fly over while I point the camera at her, that's for sure. At least she's not done it yet. Oh, you want me to pet you? You want me to pet you? All right. He's using his foot to get my attention, aren't you? Don't get those wings coming out. Not that I think I'm going to get you stimulated in any way, because that doesn't happen, but it's unusual for you to put your wings out when I'm petting your head. Pretty bird. Pretty bird. Pretty bird. She's thinking about it. Yep. Hi, Lucy. Not one to do a grand entrance, are you? No. You're not one to do a grand entrance, are you, girl? Now, as far as his condition goes, it might have been diagnosed earlier if we had known about avian ganglioneuritis before, because when it gets hot outside, gets close to 85 degrees, most of the other birds can handle that. It get much hotter than that and they have trouble. But as it gets close to 85, he would start breathing irregularly. That was a sign that I missed. I couldn't have done anything though. We didn't know about the treatment for this at the time, but still, that's a sign. If you see your bird having difficulties breathing, get them in for X-rays and see if they have enlarged organs. First thing you want to check for, because you want to solve the AGN thing over almost anything else. I mean, I say almost because there are other diseases that they could get that kill quicker. I don't know if there's any that kill quite as badly as this did. I mean, the original name for it was macaw wasting disease, so you get an idea how bad that was. Um, and then they started calling it PDD, and I've seen plenty of veterinary pictures about what those birds ended up like. And of course, I dealt with Peaches who had that, who had AGN before we had a name for it. I was describing to a friend of mine, sometimes it's difficult if you don't have any medical background. Leave her alone. Leave her alone. Okay? She's not hurting anybody. It's all right. It's all right. He's not too sure about Lucy, but if they don't have any medical background, they don't get it. When you say PDD was not a disease, and they're like, "Oh, yeah," and they start telling you, "Yeah, it was a disease." No, it's not a disease. It was a description of symptoms. And the final way I think I finally got it through to this friend was to say, "Well, you have fibromyalgia, and that's not a disease." It's a just set of symptoms. They have no idea what causes it. So they gave it a name for a group of symptoms. That's all it is. Well, now we know what the autoimmune disease is, so we have a name for it. Not the easiest name to say. You can always just say AGN. Or you should get a prize for saying avian ganglioneuritis 3 times in a row without stuttering. But if you say it right 3 times in a row, you get to throw a tomato at your favorite or your least favorite politician. And with today, that although unfortunately today that would probably get you at least manslaughter charges because tomatoes are
Mhm.
more like rocks than tomatoes, you know. They threw tomatoes at Stravinsky when he did Les Sacres du Printemps, the Rite of Spring, the first time, because he used atonal sounds and they were a different tone scale, and he wasn't hurt by them. But today you can't do that with a tomato. You guys going to be friends down here again? Preening time? Okay. This disease, by the way, is not contagious. I mean, the tests they did. Unfortunately, when they have to test something like this, they actually had to take avian bornavirus, which is the number one cause of this. There are other viruses that can cause AGN, and they actually they put that disease directly in the nares and down the throat of a group of birds, and they didn't contract it. So, I mean, they clinically tested it, and it can't. I'm not going to say it absolutely can't. The bird was possibly quite sick. It might work, but the virus might be able to invade. But it's like right now, I don't have to worry about Cecil giving AK avian ganglioneuritis. It's not that kind of disease, but one of the first things they tested was that to see how communicable it was. And that threw up some red flags too, because if you're testing it and you find out it's not communicable, well, then why do so many birds have it? It's because it's been endemic in their population for thousands of years, probably. And their bodies have learned to live with it. It's like E. coli. We can't live without it. Could kill them, but we can't live without it. So we have learned to actually use E. coli to our benefit, but avians don't do that. E. coli actually will hurt them. So, and we're not talking about the ones where they've done lab experiments and then released these horrible things into the environment. Oh, that could never have happened. Why would they do that? But we're talking about just the one that resides in your gut. That's not good for them. So we have a mutual relationship with that. And apparently they have a similar thing with this virus. But at first, oh, it's an epidemic. It's spreading everywhere. No, research shows that is not the case. It gets transmitted some way, but since it shows up in the egg, if you've got a parent either side that is AVG positive, or I should say ABV positive, and they produce an egg, that egg will almost invariably, I think it was out of 14, only one didn't. It will transmit that way. So sounds more like an STD, honestly, to me, but That part we're not sure of. We know it isn't transmitted via, you know, particulate matter into the nares or down the throat. We know that's not the case. So it's got to get in there some way. Or maybe the birds have just developed, some birds have just developed that immunity to that particular virus and it doesn't get into that population. We just don't know yet. Right, Cecil? Pet you? Okay. Try not to chew my zipper on my pocket. You little monster. What? I'm supposed to pet you too? How can I pet the Lucy and pet the Cecil and pet the KK? Yeah, I know you want to be petted too, sugar. She looks at me like, you're petting all those birds. What about me? So I don't think that he particularly was able to deal with the fact that I brought, sorry, sorry, I didn't mean to get too close on your feather. Um, but I brought peaches by, but I learned you don't want them wondering where they went. I made that mistake with Chloe and Cecil Snowball still looks for her. So well, he does. What are you doing with the foot? What are you doing with the foot? So it's best to show them so they know. Although if I had to do it again, I would take them over and show her in the, where she was in the cage. I would have shown it that way instead of picking her up. That was probably not the best maneuver. You can't get to it. Yeah, I know it's over there, but you can't get to it. Just checking, Dad. So as it is, the way it looks is it's going to be if he responds to Onsi or the drug, he'll be getting an injection every 3 days for the next 6 months. And then if his X-ray is showing he's better, it'll go every 5 days for the next 3 months. And then if it still looks good, he'll go with one injection a month until it recurs, and then we go back to every 3 days. But that's the preliminary. That could change because that's the current protocol. They might keep someone who a bird like Cecil has developed the enlarged organs. They might just keep him on it at the same every 3 days. I don't know. So if you're squeamish and you don't like working with needles or you're afraid of hurting your bird, you're going to have a problem if they develop this. Going to the vet every 3 days is going to get tiresome after a while. So it's better to just learn to do it. Have the vet show you how. Practice on an orange or a lime or something like that with a needle until you feel comfortable. Be sure you have the vet show you how. And then preferably have the vet watch you do it, even if it's doing it to an orange or a lime or some other fruit. Have to be careful what fruits you choose if you're in California. Private joke. All right, Cecil. My dad used to call California the land of fruits and nuts. So crazy people, in other words. What are you doing? He preens pretty fast, but he's pretty thorough at it. Yes, Lucy. I know your head bumping me. You want to come back up?
Mhm.
You just want to sit on my foot, or did you want to come back up?
Come.
Was ist los?
Nothing.
Ah, der Hund ist auf der
Perfect. Fine.
Straße.
Der Hund ist auf der Straße.
Mhm.
Aha.
Und der Katze ist im Keller.
Die Katze ist im Keller. Der Spatz sitzt auf dem Dach. Der Igel schaut zum Fenster rein.
What are you doing? See, I love it when I clean up because they make sure that I know that cleaning up is not the most important thing. You having fun tearing up the paper? Are you? Lucy, don't get overexcited here, kid. What? Snowball's exploring. You want me to pet you again? Okay. Lucy, calm down. You must be watching movies in your head because I'm not petting you. Those are movies I don't want to watch. Thank you. See, so this is an awkward angle to pet you. Let me see if I can get my other hand around here. Well, I hope we start seeing some changes soon. I'd like to see him back to his old self. He's a lot more cuddly and less playful. Aren't you, boy? Yeah, if we'd been able to catch this maybe a year ago, we wouldn't we'd be looking at almost certainly he'd be okay. But a year ago we didn't have the information, so which we're lucky to have. I just don't know how many people are going to pay attention to it. It'll be one of those, oh, my bird has a funny quirk. You see the way it drags its left leg a little bit? Yeah, that kind of thing. Yes. I know why Snowball has his little stutter step because he has a callus that grows on that foot, which he gets emu oil on. Yeah, that's what's recommended by the vets. Nothing else. It can't be anything but emu oil. It's not some mix with some other stuff. So has to be pure, untainted emu oil. It works. I mean, if you do that, it softens it enough, it doesn't grow anymore. It stops it from growing, and then you can put an emery board to it 2 or 3 times a week. But that's why he has a limp. Otherwise, his behavior is normal. He doesn't seem to have any problems. We still like to get them all tested. I may have to actually do that myself, get the blood and send it in all in one batch for all the birds here. is getting an appointment locally is difficult. I mean, it's just they're always backed up. If you say so, KK. One thing I noticed about 6 months ago, he stopped being quite as interested. I thought it was just nesting, but he started nesting a lot on the bottom of his cage, and he wasn't tearing up wood as much as he used to. So his activity level was going down. And it's possible X-rays would have shown that he was, at the time, would have been considered having PDD, but there was no visible sign of it. And doing my usual, where you feel them to see how they are, I didn't feel anything that seemed to be abnormal. But you got to remember, it grows over time too. So if they do have organ enlargement, you might not notice it. You might just think they're getting a little fat. Right, Cecil? Cecil. Lucy? Eh-eh. Lucy? Lucy Bird? Are you Lucy? Is that the Lucy? Is the Lucy? Hey, Lucy. Her eye is back to normal, by the way. She was having trouble with it, but it's back to normal. Hasn't had to have any drops in it. I'm glad that cleared up. Yeah, it did, didn't it? Yeah. AK is just as ornery as ever, aren't you? Hmm? That cart that we had donated to it has these holes in the. I don't know why they're there. I think it's something so that you can hang things on it or whatever. But I had to buy some faucet hole covers, 24 of them. I found a place where I could get some cheap, so I got 24 of them. Because what he's doing is he'll climb down and then get his claws in one of those holes, and you need a crane to get him off there because he doesn't want to go back to his cage. He likes that cage, but he still has this. I don't want to go back to a cage. I don't blame him. Yeah, KK, I'm talking about you. What's up, Cecil? You gonna go play? Okay, okay. I think I have 8 more to put on there now. And that way he can't climb down, and because I was letting him play on the cart while I was giving medicine to the other birds so that he can stay out longer after he gets his meds because he doesn't like to get them in his cage. But then he found ways to hang on. At first, there's a handle on the cart that comes off. Yeah, it's a big, heavy handle, but it comes off. And so he'd get on that thing and it has the spot where you can latch his nails, and he'd do it there. So then you'd have to throw the whole thing into his cage and wait till he got off of it. So that was really good. So eventually just started taking the handle off. Then he figured out that he could climb down and get his toenails into the holes on the side of the cart, and I couldn't get him off. Little monster. Are you strutting around there, Cecil? You want the elevator? Okay. So we got to wait and see. I'll let everybody know what goes on with the Jenkins when he sees the X-rays and looks over the blood work. He is scheduled to get this one's scheduled to get gram stains just to make sure that if his digestion isn't working right, he could get aspergillosis or some other issue. Gram stains are not terribly effective. I have it on good good counsel by an exotics vet that you can't count on them. I mean, there are some things that will show up on a gram stain that if they got E. coli, that'll show up. But a lot of things don't show up on a gram stain. So if you don't know what that is, that's basically testing fecal matter. It doesn't mean you take droppings into your vet. That means they have to put basically a Q-tip up there to get some fecal matter. That's the way it's done. So there are a few things. If aspergillosis is found, well, we know that's one of the ones you can tell. The other one is E. coli. Um, Not much else is going to be. There may be lots of other things that show up that don't mean anything. So I could probably just get a test kit, take it into the vet, and say, "Why don't you cancel that upcoming appointment and charge me for doing the test? Here's the sample." I don't want him to get mad at me, but it's not until next month, and if he did have a problem like that, I'd like to know a little more than a month away from now. So, not blaming them; they're just terribly busy. That place is always hopping. So it's wonderful that they can do these tests for us because nobody else in town can. And she's a good vet too. She's got the right personality for the job and a good amount of knowledge, even about parrots. She knows how to draw blood without having to go to the arteries to the brain. So she goes through the foot and does a great job there. So I'm impressed. What are you doing down there? Okay, okay. Are you whispering again? Hi, boy. Hello. 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 Hi. Hi. Hello. 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 Hello.
Sweet.
Good boy. Hello. What? Hi. Hi there. Hi. Hello. 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 Yes, you are a good boy. Yeah, it's a good boy. Good boy. Hi. I see you, so. How you doing, kid? You're too quiet. You're just too quiet. Hello. Hello. Good boy. Cecil. Nice, Cecil. Hi, KK. Hello, KK. Hi, KK. Hello. Well, keep our little Cecil in your thoughts because he's doing well getting the injections, but I haven't seen any what I would say improvement in his breathing. So, right, Cecil? You waking up over there? Are you waking up over there? Jazzy, Jazzbird, Jazzy, Jasmine. She is always, when she gets a chance, she'll engage Cecil for preening. Not a single pink bird, Moluccan, Sarum cockatoo, in this sanctuary will preen another bird. But they all want to be preened. Well, I can't say they all because it's possible Mander does, but he's happy with me doing it. What are you saying over there, big boy? Hello. Hello. Nice, Cecil. Now, I don't know. As a last note on AGN, and a lot of vets don't know about this yet. So, if they suggest meloxicam, that's a definite no-no. And the reason is meloxicam, while it is can inhibit to some degree the anti immune response, it also slows down digestion. So, not a good thing with this particular autoimmune disease. So Onsior, on the other hand, only affects the antibodies that are attacking the body. So it does not affect digestion. Rant, rant, rant. Okay, Kay, do you want to have the last word? I think it should be Cecil, but he's busy preening. You have anything you want to tell the viewers, Cecil? Cecil? Nope. KK? You could say it louder. There you go. Hello. Good boy. Thanks, Amy, for moderating. Thanks, everybody, for being here. And Cecil, thanks for being Cecil. We loved a Cecil.
Lots of people are praying for the Cecil and having Cecil in his thoughts. Cecil, we need you.
He's not that old, so.
Nope. Still a young burb.
Could have many years ahead of him. So you just keep fighting, buddy boy. We'll keep giving you medicine, okay? Thanks again, Amy, and say goodbye, everybody. We're out of here.
Thanks for coming.
Science knowledge only adds to the excitement, the mystery, and the awe of a flower.
Evidence is evidence. It's public. Everybody can look at the evidence and assess it, and eventually, if there's enough evidence, come to the same conclusion.
The Chloe Sanctuary for Parrots and Cockatoos, a nonprofit charity dedicated to the empowerment of captive parrots and public awareness.